I, a 34-year-old female, have two sisters who I'll call Sally and Bea. I am close to both, or thought I was. Bea got married a few years ago and had been having fertility issues. She and her husband finally conceived through IVF, and I was ecstatic for her when I found out she was pregnant. There have been a few times over the years where I've felt purposely left out of things. I was the only one who never got an invitation to Bea's graduation. She thought I wouldn't want to go. When our grandfather passed away, they had a big family get-together a few days later. I was the only one not invited. They didn't think I'd want to go again. When Bea had her baby shower, she organized it on a day where she knew I wouldn't be able to attend. Although upset at missing out, I dropped off at my parents' a beautiful hamper full of things I'd been buying for the baby and Bea, and included a handmade blanket that one of my aunts, recently passed, hand-knitted for my little boy when she found out I was pregnant 6 years ago. Throughout her pregnancy, Bea has said that the day she had the baby, she only wanted our parents and her husband's parents to visit the hospital, and that then they wanted the first 24 hours at home by themselves with no visitors, as they have a dog, and wanted him to get used to baby first. Totally understandable and fine by me. Bea has had multiple medical complications throughout her pregnancy, which has meant she had to have an early C-section. I spoke to Bea the day before and told her my day was clear. At work, but not a lot on. And that if she needed me, she knew where I was, and that I couldn't wait to hear from her. We didn't know the gender or anything, so very excited. On the day, I got a Facebook call around 1 p.m. from Bea, in which she and my dad introduced me to my beautiful nephew. I was delighted. Bea then handed the phone to my mom as a nurse came in. My mom then informed me that Sally was there. My joy turned into devastation. I asked my mom why I hadn't been invited to the hospital too. She said, because I was working, that they hadn't thought I'd be able to go. I told her that was an issue for me to deal with, and that if I'd asked, my manager would have let me leave to enjoy the moment with my family, but instead they were all there, enjoying that beautiful moment without me. Again, I hung up in tears from my mom. I've removed myself from the family group chat. I spoke to my manager at work, who said she would have definitely let me leave for the afternoon and was shocked my family had done that. I messaged my mom afterwards and told her how upset I was, and her response was, "I'm sorry you feel that way." My manager said she's gaslighting me and said my feelings are absolutely valid, but was I overreacting? Am I the a-hole for hanging up on my family? Relevant comments. Commenter 1, not the a-hole. I don't know why, but I have this feeling Bea is behind a lot of this. It sounds like you had children first and she had struggled. But whatever the reason behind your family's attitude and actions is, I want you to realize that none of it is your fault. They are making active choices to exclude you. And I know that hurts you very much. And the hard part is that you may never know why. But I have daughters close to your ages, and I would never have allowed something like this to go on. If you're having a problem with another family member, you work it out or you suck it up and go wherever they're going to be. But I will not exclude someone else because you refuse to deal with whatever your issues are. You are not the asshole, and you definitely need to go. No contact. I would stop calling. I would stop contacting them. And as much as I hate to say it, they will probably not even notice because they're already excluding you. This is not how family acts. And when your family tries to gaslight you later on, don't fall for it. Call them out on this crap. Tell them that's bullshit. You say every time you didn't think I'd want to go, but you never ask. So don't freaking try to pin your attitudes and whatever this exclusionary tactic is on me. And then hang up the phone. Create your own family with your in-laws and your friends who really care about you. The fact that all of us are appalled by your family's behavior, as is your own boss, should tell you everything you need to know. Original poster replied, I honestly have no idea why they are like this with me. I always thought I had good, strong relationships with both my parents and my sisters. I am the eldest of the three, and when I had my son, I was 28. Bea was only 21, nearly 22. So still quite young. I don't think that I had kids first is anything to do with it. My partner and my mother-in-law and sister-in-law are livid with how I was treated and have agreed. I'm not the a-hole in any way. I just don't know how to move forward. I'm devastated. Commenter 2, not the a-hole, not overreacting. Your family does not like you. I am sorry that sounds harsh, but they really don't give a damn about you. Have they ever expressed a reason why they constantly do not invite you to major events in their lives? Have they always done this even when you all were children? It is just so toxic and emotionally abusive. They have shown you who they are and what they think about you. It is up to you if you want to continue to pursue this relationship with them and hope to get more than scraps. Or just stop. It is also up to you to approach them individually and ask them why they never include you in anything. Or you can say to hell with it and not bother wasting time getting some lame-ass answer from them. Focus on yourself and your own family. Original poster replied, honestly, it didn't start happening until I moved out of the family home. I was 20 when I moved out and so have been extremely independent for a long time. But that doesn't negate the fact that I still don't get invited to things. A lot of the time they say, it's because I have a son with additional needs. Can't get a babysitter, etc. But I have a very good relationship with my son's father who works in childcare and swaps his shifts so I can attend family gatherings such as Bea's wedding. My family know this. So that's not an excuse either. Commenter 3. This is going to sound harsh, sad, but I don't think it's that. They don't think you can handle it. I suspect there is ableism involved and they don't want your son there. Original poster replied, I hope that isn't the case, but starting to think this might be one of the possible reasons as to why. Unfortunately, commenter 4 families don't usually abandon loved family members without a reason. Have you done something that has upset them many times? Do you behave a certain way around them? I would ask them straight up why they are behaving this way and go on from there. Original poster replied, honestly, no. I visit my family every 2 weeks when my son is home with me so we can all spend time together. I stay in touch with both my sisters, meet for coffee, etc. I always thought I had a strong, loving bond with all my family members. Update 1. 2 days later. First off, I just want to thank everyone for all of your supportive comments and to those who have shared their own stories. I've taken the time to read through everything the last few days. So after Thursday, I didn't hear anything from my family at all until today. Sunday, I was scrolling through Facebook and saw that all of my brother-in-law's family were at the hospital on Thursday too. So the only people not invited were myself, my significant other, and my son. I messaged my mother after I saw this and explained how I was now even more upset and asked what I had done. Her response was that I've done absolutely nothing, not to my sister or anyone. She tried making out that Sally went to the hospital of her own volition, which I do not believe. She would not have just turned up. She would have asked. My mom said that because I was working, they had assumed I couldn't get time off. I explained how I manage my work is up to me. If they'd asked and I'd declined, that would be another matter entirely. Anyway, I've told my mother I'm going low contact. How this isn't the first time I've been excluded and that I'm deeply hurt by their actions. So that's it for now. I'm going to focus on my little family and my in-laws who I saw today, and were very loving and supportive. Again, thank you to everyone for taking the time to read and comment. It meant a lot. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, not the a-hole and less contact or no contact sounds like the best decision for you and your family. They are deliberately excluding you with no explanation that makes sense. A couple of things did stick out to me after reading both of your posts and some comments. You said your family started leaving you out after your son was born. Was it before or after he was diagnosed with learning disabilities? It seems like that's an odd time to start leaving you out. Are your partner and son invited to events, or are they left out too? Also, you say you're close to your whole family, but you only mention talking to your mom in your posts and what she said to you. Have your dad and sisters said things similar to what your mom said? Or is it only from your mom? Original poster replied, I haven't heard anything from anybody else in my family. Nobody else has contacted me. I only contacted my mom last night because I'd seen all the pics on Facebook with other relatives at the hospital commenter too. Good for you. But I am really curious for the fact the entire family seems to be regularly excluding you, and that nobody is even speaking up for you. Personally, I think your sister might be spreading around stores. Original poster replied, my son would not have been coming with me to the hospital. And you're absolutely right. My significant other is an absolute saint. I totally agree, and we have been working on my son's behavior together over the last few months to decrease any sort of disruptive behavior. He's an absolute one-of-a-kind commenter too. Sorry, everybody keeps harassing you about this. How dare you make a mistake and then learn from it? Especially if it includes your autistic child or being a single mother. That's also stupid. Everyone screws up. I'm glad y'all seem to have grown from it, which is what we usually applaud people for. Apparently, unless we can throw it back in their face at some point. This also doesn't seem like a valid reason to me. If that were the problem, I would hope someone would respect her enough to be honest with her and say that occasionally there were some gatherings that might not be the most autistic-friendly. But that should really only be for the benefit of the child, not the comfort of the adults around him, who apparently can't act like grown-ups. It also doesn't explain, to me anyway, the cold response from her family about this, especially from her mother. That's her grandchild, bro. That's supposed to be sacred in any normal, functioning family. I have an autistic nephew with his fair share of issues. And yes, it can be disruptive at times and even difficult. But I've never even considered excluding him from anything family-related, nor has anybody else that I know of. We wouldn't dream of it. I would feel like a monster. Just excluding that sweet little boy from his family because of something that isn't his fault. Screw that noise. And if your parents do end up showering the new kid with love and attention in a way they never did with your son, then yes. Go no contact immediately. Save your son and yourself from that kind of abuse. Y'all have each other. I'd rather have a mom that loved and protected me than a whole family of exclusionary twats. Stay strong. Original poster replied, "Thank you so much for this. Yes, I made a mistake and I learned from it. I was a single parent for 2 years to my son, and working full-time, I let him get away with a lot because it made my life just that little bit easier. That's what I was used to. I'm not alone anymore. And I work alongside my partner to make changes that benefit us as a family as a whole. It's nice to see that someone actually realized this. Plus, I wouldn't have taken my son to the hospital either. I was actually talking to my significant other about this last night, as he's worried my parents will treat their new grandchildren very differently. And if that's the case, we will be going. No contact. It will break my heart for my child as he adores his grandparents. But I don't want to promote such a toxic environment either. Update 2. 3 days later. Many of you asked for another update. Bea contacted me last night. She said she didn't remember ever telling me that no one was allowed at the hospital and that the plan was always for all of her in-laws to go and that she had already had a conversation with Sally about her going too. She said I must have misheard. I gently reminded her that my significant other had been sat in the room at the same time she had said, "No one at the hospital other than parents." So couldn't see how we'd both misheard that. That the first thing he had said to me when I told him Sally was at the hospital was, "She said no one other than yours or brother-in-law's parents." She then said she had been upset that I hadn't reached out to her after the FaceTime call to check on her and the baby, and that she'd refused to chase me. I told her that I had no idea what had been going on, whether she'd been discharged or anything, and that as a new mom, I figured she wanted some time. Which is understandable. I didn't expect her to chase me. She told me that they've had to go back to the hospital daily since they were discharged as the baby has been poorly. I told her I'm sorry about that. I genuinely am. And that I hope he gets better soon. She asked me when I'm going to see the baby. I told her I didn't know and that it would depend on an invitation. She told me the invitation is open, but that she's feeling really sore and bruised at the minute. Understandable. And doesn't know how she's going to feel, so that I need to put some time aside and check with them first. If we did want to go through, I left it that in the end as it was past 10 p.m. and needed some sleep. I'm honestly not too sure what to do. I spoke with my significant other last night who laid his thoughts and feelings down. Total no contact. But that he will support me whatever I decide to do. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Whatever you decide to do, you gotta pull back. Spend the time and money on your own family instead. Original poster replied, I plan to do that regardless. It's good to know I have my significant other and my in-laws on my side at least. Commenter 2, I agree with no contact. Don't let them gaslight you. An open invitation, but you have to check. It is okay. First before you go is not an open invitation. Anytime you pick. Won't be a good time, original poster replied. No, and I got that feeling when we were talking last night. I'm just gonna leave it for now, I think. And wait and see whether I do get an actual invitation or not. I doubt I will, and I'm not chasing for one either. Commenter 3, was she planning to lie until you said your significant other was present with you when she mentioned the visitor limitations? She's terrible, and the door is open, but you need to call ahead to check. It sounds like whenever you want to visit, they're going to come up with excuses for you not to visit. I would definitely go no contact. Don't let them continue to gaslight you. They're terrible people. Original poster replied. It certainly seemed like it until I reminded her significant other had been sitting in the same room as us, and that was my thought about visiting rooms, so I'm certainly not going to chase. I'm glad he was there too. Otherwise, I think I might have started to think that I was going crazy. And I will be matching their energy from now on. Thank you. Update 3. 1 week later. So I messaged Bea back and told her that when she was feeling up to it to let me know a day and we would go through. She left me to read and didn't respond. That's fine. I'm letting her get on with it. As for my mom, she's been sending messages and trying to FaceTime me. I've barely been responding to her messages. I haven't heard anything from Sally or my dad the last 2 weeks. This evening, my mom FaceTimed. I wouldn't have answered it, but my son was sat next to me and got giddy when he saw his grandmother pop up on my phone, so I did. She tried to act all normal and nice, but I was blunt. I could tell she was miffed at the end of the call that I was still being off with her. After the call, I messaged her. Probably shouldn't have done, but I did, and it's done now. And told her that until I got a proper face-to-face apology, that this is the way it's going to be. She messaged back and said she's apologized loads. She sent that, "I'm sorry you feel that way." And one message that did say that she was sorry, but in the middle of all the other waffle that came with it, and nothing face-to-face. And I told her that she'd tried to gaslight me the first time and only tried to apologize once over a text. She FaceTimed me again and told me that she had not tried to gaslight me, that she was sorry that I felt that way, and that, and I quote, "You just let your feelings get the better of you." I told her again that, no, that's not an apology, that my feelings are valid. She then said she was sorry, turned on the waterworks, and told me she couldn't do this anymore and hung up. So yeah, that's it up to this point. Other than that, I've been good, just focusing on my son and significant other and my day-to-day stuff with work, etc. I've actually been okay and sort of come to terms with the fact that I'm not going to have that close-knit relationship with my family anymore. But that's okay. I have my significant other, my son, and my in-laws. They're the ones who need to be the important people in my life. Now, I doubt there'll be another update now, but thank you to everyone for taking the time to read and comment. It really helped update 4. Okay, I honestly didn't think there'd be another update, but here goes. This only happened today, and I'm still feeling a bit unsure about things, and I'm still very upset. So, over the last few weeks, a lot has happened. My mom and dad have both apologized, and we're working on our relationship whether you agree with that or not. That's the decision I've made. Sally also came to see me, and we talked through the whole situation like adults. We both apologized to one another for how we made the other feel, and we've been okay since. Not back to normal, but better than it was. While Sally was at mine, she suggested I be the bigger person and reach out to Bea. After a few days and mulling her words, I messaged Bea and told her I would be taking my son to see our parents today. She said she would come through to see us. My son's significant other, and I got to my parents this morning for 10 a.m. We had to leave at 11:30 as we've had other things going on today. 45 minutes later, Bea shows up with her baby, now 5 weeks old. My mom asked Bea to let me hold him. Bea refused and said we needed to talk first, which was fine. I commented on the baby, asked how they were all doing, and even gave her a gift that me and my significant other had picked up the other week. Just a stuffed toy, nothing crazy. Bea gave me one-word answers with my mom filling in all the other details. At one point, Bea handed the baby to my mom and left the room for about 10 minutes. My mom asked me to go and see her. I refused as she'd barely acknowledged any of us since she came into the house. She came back in and again barely spoke. As we were packing up to go, Bea said she was sorry for being quiet, but that she was feeling awkward after 5 weeks. She said that I'd upset her by not contacting her to check on her. And the baby, I told her that I knew she'd had a lot on being a new mom. Baby is exclusively breastfeed, not a lot of sleep, and that she was recovering from surgery, and I hadn't wanted to hound her. She started shouting at me, calling me ridiculous, and that's not what sisters do. Those sisters are there for one another, and I'd hurt her feelings. She continued to shout at me, whilst holding her baby, about that she never said I couldn't go to the hospital, that I'd misconstrued what she had said, and that she doesn't know how this will be fixed. My significant other mom and dad tried to diffuse the situation by saying they could see both sides, and that even though we were frustrated with one another, she needed to calm down and just talk. Bea then started shouting at my parents, saying she was sick of them taking my side. At that point, I couldn't even say anything. My son was in the room and picking up on the frustration and anger from Bea and asking to go. I told my family we were leaving. My mom and dad followed us out, and I broke down when I got in the car. My mom asked me to go back inside. I couldn't. I was too angry and needed to remain calm for my son and for the drive home. Bea came to the door with the baby and said she didn't want me to go like this. I told her tough I'd tried, and all she'd done was shout at me. My significant other tried to get me to turn around and go back, but I couldn't bring myself to. I was so upset I just wanted to come home. My mom rang me when we got home asking if I was okay. I broke down again and said no. That I'd tried, but all Bea had done was shout at me and tried making me out to be a liar. She'd taken absolutely zero accountability for what she'd said to me and my significant other all those weeks ago. My mom and dad actually both commended me for staying so calm, whilst Bea had shouted. I told my mom that I refused to be a parent that loses it in front of her kid, and in order for me to remain calm, I'd need to leave my mom. And significant others say I should contact Bea again once I've calmed down, but I honestly don't know what to even say at this point, so yeah. For those that are interested in any of this, that's where we are right now.